So one was raised by Mr. Krish V. So he was asking a question whether if I remove a related list from the created based on a lookup, will I be in a position to add um, new data using that lookup? Let's try that. So I just removed that related list. So under the agent where I created a lookup, so I removed the associated deals, which is the lookup field and its related list. Saving that. I'm going back to my deals. So and I'm creating a new deal. So I'm going to add a agent, and I'm also going to use this lookup. Save. So it actually allows me to associate, and when I go back to my other module, it does allow me to associate and create lookups. So even if I want to add a new agent, I can add it. So it's not a problem of removing the related lists from the lookup field. All right. So people who didn't understand the lookup and multi-lookup at the first time, you will definitely have some confusions in your mind. But as I said earlier, we will be uploading the recorded session onto our LMS portal, and it will be available for until June 30th. So you can go through the training sessions as videos again, and you can learn it from there. So since we have very limited time, I don't want to repeat on those topics. So, so since we have the recordings, so you can obviously go there and look at the recordings and learn it again. All right. So going back to my setup on modules and fields. So the other important things that we need to look into this is we have completed all the fields and criteria about how to customize a lookup, multi-lookup, and all those fields within the layout. And we also understood what a layout is, how to create a new module, how to associate that module with an existing default module like accounts or deals using lookup and multi-lookup. So all that is done. Now, so the other features that I like to explain is under this ellipsis icon. Okay, so the three dots is called as ellipsis. So here you can rename the leads. You need not call it as leads. We can actually rename it as prospects or anything that is, or you can also have it as inquiries. And save it. So the module default module name will be listed, but the actual lead module gets automatically renamed or the way you want. All right. And the next one is fields. So it gives you a list of all the fields that you have created inside the that particular layout or that particular module. And so if you have to give permissions to a field, so we saw permissions based on fields when we were creating a field. Now, if I have to do it in bulk, how would I do that? So here we have something called as field permissions, where you can choose the profile first of which profile, what level of permission you want to set. So say, for example, a field says agent, and I don't want him to see date of birth or any other field. I can just choose what I want to give him, what rights I have to give him on that particular field. So this is a place where you do that bulk permissions for all the fields that you have created inside a particular module. All right. So whether you want to give in a read write option, or do you want to give him the read only, or you don't want him show the field at all? You can choose what you want to do. First, you need to select the profile here, and then you make those changes to the and you save it. All right. So that's on field permissions for bulk. Okay. So next is validation rule. Now, what is a validation rule? When can we use it, and what is the best case behind it? Okay. Now, say in whenever I'm making a sale to a customer, and I have as a sales manager or as the CEO of the company, I don't want my sales guys to give in a discount value more than 20% or 15% or 10%. I want to restrict them not to have a discount value more than the predefined or set value. Okay, so that's the use case. Now, where will that discount come into play? It can either come in picture when we're creating a deal, or whether you can also have it in the quotations, or you can also have it on the invoices. Now, having said all that, we also need to know how to validate that particular data. So that's where validation rules comes into that picture. So let me go to my deals layout and module, and I want to create a new validation rule. So as I said, I want to have a discount value and discount field, and I don't want my sales guys to enter more than 5% or 10% on the discount. So first I need to create a field for that, right? So I'm going back to my deals layout. I'm editing my deals layout. I'm going to add a new field. So let's create a percentage field here. I'm going to name it as discount percent. And I'm going to save this. All right. And I'm going to create a validation rule for that particular field. So I'm going to click on validation rules, new validation rule. I'm going to select the field discount. So here we also have an option either to use it using a criteria or using a function. A function is a script, so I'll explain that a little later. So let's try using criteria. So discount percentage should not be greater than and equal to 20. Done. And you can also enter a message. So I could say discount should not be greater than 20%. I save this. Now let's see how this validation rules comes into action. So I'm going to my deals module. I'm going to create a new deal. All right. So I have a discount percent here. That's a field. So I'm trying to enter 25%. And when I click on save, throws me that error message. It won't allow me to create that record. So thereby you can validate your records, and you can restrict your sales guys not to enter a value which is predefined for, or you're validating it even before the record is getting created. So thereby you can save error messages or error in the data. And when you're using functions, so I was also talking about functions, right? Let me explain the use cases where and all you can use validations for functions. Okay. Most of the people who have joined from India, they do know that there is there is something called as PAN card, which is a taxation card in India. We also have Aadhaar card, which is again something like a social security number in India. So these comes in a particular format, right? So PAN card comes with 4 alphabets, 4 numeric, and ends up with again with an alphabet. And similarly, Aadhaar card has a numeric count. All right, so these are so many numbers constitute an Aadhaar card. I believe it's 13 or 9 numbers. So when the sales guys are collecting data over the phone, right? So they tend to miss out an alphabet or they tend to miss out a number. It might not be the number of digits that is required for a PAN card or a social security number or a other card or any other data. You know? So in such scenarios, you can use the functions that you want to validate. So you can write scripts. So say for example, I just want to create some field and I want to validate it using a function. I can do that. When I click on next, it takes me to a page where I can write my script to validate that. So let's say the function name is uh, so it takes you to a dilute script page where you can write your scripts here. So this is kind of an advanced level of scripting using dilute script, and we do have training for partners on dilute script. We are also planning to roll that training as an online platform. Uh, we will be shortly releasing that to all the partners, wherein they can register and learn on all the advanced features in terms of dilute scripting, SDKs, whatever you see on the developer space of CRM. We are planning to roll that out for you guys. We are just now finalizing the way in which we can deliver that to you. What is the agenda for that and all that. So once we release it, you guys can register for that, and you can start um, learning, through online courses on dilute scripting, on SDKs, on other functionality platforms. People who also have an awareness of scripting, like Java or XML scripting, or you do have some basic coding knowledge. Uh, um, Only those people would be in a position to understand all this little easier. The training is entitled to those who have at least a minimum of some kind of a coding knowledge. Like they should also at least know what an HTML is, what a Java XML is, what our scripting languages are, in order to learn and understand the loose scripting, and also the all other developer space like API integrations and all that. So we are planning to release that for partners. We will be rolling out the agendas with conditions where who can join and who can learn and all that. So if you have a little bit of scripting knowledge, you can very well join those training sessions and learn these scriptings and functions. All right. Now, so that was an example. So if you want to validate a data structure or a data type using scripts, you can do that. We have recently released this feature to validate records even before they get added inside your system. We do the validation check immediately, and we can get to know whether that data is perfect or not. To give a broader use case on this validation or scripting validation, um, I could tell you the use case when I'm teaching you buttons, and I'll talk about that story that I personally went through or experienced with the customer. All right. So going back to my setup. So the next one is links and buttons. All right. Now, before going here, let me finish off certain things here. So under standard layout, under deals, we talked about stages in deals. Remember yesterday, we had stages in deals. Let me show you that. These qualification, need analysis, value proposition. We also saw how this probability percentage is getting set, how that expected revenue is getting met, and all that, right? So when we move across, it automatically changes the value, and the expected revenue also gets set to that. So having said that, let us know where to customize these stages. Where are we keeping these probability percentage and its relation? So I'm going to teach you that now. So I'm inside deals module. I edited the standard layout. This is layout. I edited the standard layout. And here we have stages where you do have the option to set stage probability mapping. So this is where you do have the option to edit your stages. You can add your own stages and you also have the option to edit them. This is where you set the probability percentage, which calculates the amount and reflects onto the expected revenue. And it also correlates to the forecast module. So we also have a forecast module where it shows you the pipeline of your sales and all that. So whether that particular stage in a deal is open state inside the forecast type and what is whether it's in the pipeline or not under the forecast category. So you set all that up here, and you also have the option to add, remove stages and all that inside the stage probability mapping. All right. Now, the other thing that I need to teach you is we talked about products and taxes, remember? So yesterday we talked about products. Whenever we want to add a new product, there is something called as what are the types of taxes here. Now, where to set these taxes and tax percentages. So that's what I'm going to teach you next. So again, I'm going back to my setup, modules and fields. I'm going to edit products, edit the standard layout of products. So here is where the tax is. So you can edit this, customize tax rates. And so if I want to have something like GST, you can do that. I can set a percentage for it. So say 5 or 8% or 9% or 14%. You can do that. So you can add any types of taxations and you can also set the percentage for that. So once you set this up, whenever you're creating a product, automatically the tax GST taxations or any taxation percentages that you have set will get reflected to that quotations and all that. All right. And so similarly, as we saw for leads, so I just renamed it as inquiries. Let me rename it back to as leads so that whenever I'm explaining, it will be easy for you to understand. All right. So we saw something called as lead conversion mapping. So whenever we convert a lead, it gets mapped. The same type of a conversion mapping is also available inside quotations because we convert a quote into a sales order and invoice. So whenever you create a new field value inside the quotations module, the same steps as I showed you for the leads module. So say for example, I want to add a new currency field here. Something like that. And I want to have this field added into all the two modules. You have this option here, the similar way as we saw it for lead conversion mapping. We try to do it for also add for accounts, contacts, and deals, the same formula. So you also have the option to choose and associate that. And again, when you go to save this layout, and when you go back to your quote conversion mapping, so you have that field, and if you want to map it, you can map it. So it's already mapped. All right. So that was on lead conversion mapping and quote conversion mapping. Going back to the setup. So I was here initially. So the next one is links and buttons. Okay. Now you can have custom buttons created inside any module, and you can execute actions like you can evoke a widget you can evoke an URL, or you can also run a custom function. The script that when I say custom function, I mean the scripts, the Dilute scripts. Okay, so you can run those custom functions and all that. So you can create these buttons. So when I click on create your first button, so let's name that button as, say for example, when I'm sticking to my lead, I want to check my calendar in order to schedule my appointment with him, or and all that. No, I want to see which time slot is available for me. I want to check my calendar. Right, my calendar is not inside CRM. Maybe I integrated my Outlook calendar or my Zoho calendar in that scenario. So let's say I want to create a button like check calendar, and so where should I place this button on my leads screen? Okay, so we are creating this button inside the leads module. Where am I going to place this button inside my lead screen? So whether I want to have it in create and clone page, or should I have to have it on view page, I can choose that. And if you notice, there is also a view place which will give you a flash window of where am I going to place this particular um, um, button onto my leads module. Okay, so you have a flash window that's appearing. You can see where this button is going to get created and placed itself. So whenever you're viewing a particular lead, that's where it's going to get placed. So let's place it there. And what action am I going to perform on executing this button? So whether I have to invoke a function or a script, or should I have to invoke a URL? I can choose what I have to do. Okay, so let's try invoking a URL. That's where I'm going to pull my calendar to be showcased onto whenever I click on this button. So I'm going to access my Zoho calendar. So let's say calendar.zoho.com. So I'm going to copy this URL and paste it here. So it's going to appear as a new tab, or you want to have it on the existing tab or a new window. You can choose how you want to do that when you click on that particular button. So you save it. So let's see how this comes into action. So I'm going back to my leads. I'm just opening up a lead and I'm going to view that. So that's where I placed it. So you can see that button here, check calendar. And click on this. So it takes me to a new page where it opens up my Zoho calendar. All right, simple steps. It's not necessary that you need to put only applications within Zoho. You can also do it for any other URLs or any other things. So I was about to talk about a story, right? So let's listen to a story of how we can utilize this button or the function or the script. All right. Now, I had a customer who was dealing a business in terms of he has a business where he manufactures and produces prosthetic chairs, the wheelchairs for patients who are disabled. All right. Now he has deployed his field sales guys across various hospitals in orthopedic wards, and but these patients can purchase it only based on an insurance value or insurance slab, or if they are entitled to purchase it based on their insurance. All right. Now, this company has only one login to check the insurance of the patients. Okay? And in US or any other country, um, we are not allowed to showcase that insurance details. It's patient confidentiality, and you cannot see all the details about that insurance and details about the patient. Right now, having said that, how am I going to make a sale or even know that this particular patient is qualified to have a chair or purchase a chair from me based on his insurance? All right. Now he has deployed this sales guys, and these guys are on orthopedic wards. And so what we have done is we created a button where it'll go and speak to the insurance website, with the login credentials that has been given to this company, and it will check for the and validate that data about the patient, and it will just show back whether this particular patient is valid, in the sense he's can he purchase based on his insurance or not. And based on that, these sales guys, they don't check or look into the patient's history or the patient's information. They just click on that button, they enter the insurance number, and they click on that button, and it goes validates the data, gives him back with the data information whether this particular patient is applicable to buy a prosthetic chair or make a sale with him or not. All right, so that's just a story to know, to encourage you guys to understand how far we can build this button to correlate with APIs, widgets, things like that. We also had one more scenario where no, there was a company who wants to look into their stock exchange, um, and now to know the net amount value and all that. And so they cannot keep switching tabs based on the type of mortgage, or based on the type of the share, or based on the type of the investment that is made by their customers. They just want to click on a button and know what is the share value and all that, based on the type of share or the company in which they have invested. So we can also customize a button for that. We can execute API calls, get and post data using widgets. So all these functionalities can be done using a button. Okay, so I'm just giving you all such scenarios and examples, so that whenever you come across such a customer, don't hesitate, back off. That you cannot, don't say that nothing can be done. Anything can be done with Zoho CRM, using scripts, using API calls, using widgets, speaking to third-party applications and all that. So using buttons and functions. So I'm just giving you a heads up on all that. All right. So going back to my links and buttons, the last one is the summary. Summary is nothing but it tell you how many modules are created, how many fields are created, and all that summary is being listed out for you. Is there a workflow associated? Is an assignment rule associated? Approvals, templates, and all that. Okay. Okay. So the next is on the under the modules and customizations, we have one more thing to be gone through. So we have map dependency fields. Okay. To understand this better, let me create a simple pick list on-site layout. So remember, we created a restaurant layout. Now I have a simple pick list here. So I'm just going to create two pick lists. So we already have a pick, let's say food type. Just for your understanding, easy understanding, a simple example. So let's say veg, non-veg, vegan, and say vegetarian. Let's say eggy. All right. Now these are food types, and what are the foods that we have? So I'm going to create another pick list. Let's say choices. Um, so um, fish, egg, veggie, um, chicken, red meat, All right. So, so I created two pick lists. Now I need to map it. So whenever a customer comes into my restaurant and he selects veg, I need to showcase him only veg items, veg related items, something like that. Okay. So just to understand the scenario. So I save this layout. I'm going back to my here. So I have something called as map dependency fields. That's what we're going to learn now. So I'm going to click on new. So I'm going to map these two fields. The food type is my primary field or the parent field, and the choices are my secondary pick list. All right. When I click on next, it gives me a list of all the values in my primary field, that is food type, and the choices. Okay. So when I select food type to be as none, it should only showcase none. When I choose veggies, it should showcase only veggies. When I choose non-veg, I can give in fish, egg. So I can just use the command key or the control key, and I'm selecting those. All right. So when I choose veggies or vegetarian, it will show only that. So I also have one more, right? So when I click on next, it goes to the last option here. And when I choose eggy, it should showcase only egg. So I save this. Okay. Now, how is this going to reflect onto my screen when I'm creating a lead? All right. So go back to my leads. I'm going to create a new lead. So I'm going to choose the layout restaurant. So when I choose food type as none, it always appears to be as none. When I choose veg, it will show automatically bring in the value veggie. When I choose non-veg, it gives me these options. And when I choose vegetarian, it's called green vegan, it's going to show me that. And eggy, it's automatically takes in the value egg. So we are creating a dependency mapping between two pick list values using map dependency fields. All right. Going back to my setup under modules and fields, the next one is under standard layout. So most of you ask me, how can I avoid duplicate entries entering inside my system? So I think that was for the first question I saw today. I don't remember the name of the person. So I'm going to address that here. All right. So how to avoid duplicates to be not to entered inside our system when I'm generating leads or when I'm generating a contact and so on and so forth. So every module has an option to not set a field not to allow duplicate values. All right. So for example, in leads, it's already enabled that do not allow duplicate values. So say for example, I have one more field and I want to do that. So say passport or phone number. Okay. So I don't wish to have duplicate values on phone numbers. I can enable this option called do not allow duplicates. All right. And so you can have only three fields to be done like that. So let's say one more field, say facts. You won't have that. So maximum of three fields that you can choose not to allow duplicates. So you can either have email and phone number, and probably if you have a social security number, you can do that, or any other field that you wish to make it as a unique field. And based on that data entry that's being added into that, it won't allow you to have duplicate records getting added inside your system. So this thereby you can restrict. So email is obviously unique, phone number is unique, social security number is unique, mobile number is unique. So thereby you can restrict not to have duplicate records inside your system. All right. And going back to my um, speech. The next one is under leads, we have duplicate check preference. So this is to whenever you convert a lead inside into a contact, you are checking whether that particular contact already exists inside the contacts module or not. You're checking whether that lead information is, say for example, John is a lead, and you are converting John into a contact and an account. So enabling this, and based on those fields, the unique fields that we have enabled, it will check inside the contacts module if that particular email address is there, if that particular phone number is there, or any other field that you marked as unique is already existing inside your system, even before you convert that person into a lead or a contact. All right. So this will avoid duplicates getting created inside your system. All right, guys. The next one is tab groups. Tab groups are nothing but the tabs that you see on the top, like home, leads, contacts, accounts, deals. If you want to have them in the form of groups, like say for example, you have a CEO, and whenever a CEO logs in inside your system, he just want to see home tab, reports, and analytics, nothing else. So you can just select those tabs and associate him. So if he is having the administrator profile, you can choose that profile to which you want to associate and create such tab groups. Only those tabs will be visible to him. So these tab groups appear here on these three dots. Let me zoom in. So only that particular tabs will be displayed on the top. So if you're working on a particular set of modules, and you just want to have these on a daily basis, you can also create a tab group for yourself, and you can associate yourself. And in case if you want to have all the tabs visible for you on a daily basis, or whenever you want to switch, you can switch. So instead of having a long list of tabs, you can customize your tab groups and choose which profile should have access to which tabs. So you have 25 tabs, again, custom modules, all that also can be selected and added up here. The next one is web tabs. Web tabs are nothing but if you are integrating with any other applications like Zoho Desk or any third-party applications also, or even a creator form or anything like that, you can create new web tabs wherein you can give it a name, and you can also choose whether it's going to be a link or you want to pull up a widget. So I told you, right, with regards to stock exchange story that I told you, you can have it as a widget. So whenever you want to create a widget, what that widget does is it will either get data from a third-party application or post data into a third-party application. Again, it's run through various XMLs or JavaScripts or HTMLs. You can do that. And as I said, these things will be taught to you separately on the developer space training, not in this training, which requires some technical knowledge and all that. And so that was on web tabs. So I was also talking about the file upload field. When I initially started customizing the modules, I was talking about the file upload field. And as I told you that there is a place wherein you can allow your customers to log in inside your CRM and upload that data information. So we spoke about an example where we took a travel and living company, and we created a field over there called passport and visa copy. And I told you that customers can actually access your CRM and upload that information. So how can we do that? So I'm going to teach you a new feature called as portals. So portals is to showcase your CRM to your contacts, not to your leads, to your contacts. Okay. So when you want to customize a portal, you first select what level of permission should the customer have or the contact have onto your portal based on every module. So whether do they have an edit permission on all that. So you choose the permission level for every module. And Chris would have explained you Canvas view yesterday. So you also have a Canvas view that you can select and display your portal to your customers. The best thing here is displaying your products as a Canvas view to your customers on your portal, on your CRM portal. You can customize it very beautifully, as we saw on a video that was played by Chris yesterday. And so you can choose what level of access the customer should have. on every module, what layout should be displayed. So for example, in deals, if I have a separate layout, or in product, if I have a separate layout, I can choose what layout should be displayed. So I set all that up and I click on next. So it gives me those modules. I can choose which field is going to be a read-only field, which field is a non-editable field. I can choose all that. So it's only a read-only field, not editable field. I can choose all based on whatever the fields that I select. So whatever the fields that I select, it gets up, displayed onto my portal. So let me show you that file upload. I created a file upload field onto the leads module. I'm sorry. Let me create it for you on the quickly create it on the contacts. All right, so I created two file upload fields. I'm going back to my portal settings on the setup, portals, edit my portal. All right, so edit, next. So I'm enabling these two fields to be showcased. So you can select how you want to have that, or what are the fields you want to have it. So you select all that and you click on finish. You can also do a portal preview. So how the customers are going to see that. Okay. And based on every module, how are they going to see it? What fields they will be in a position to see that. So all that is done. Then you go back here. You need to enable this option called to enable your portal, and you go back to your contacts. Now, how am I going to invite my contacts to access my portal? How would they know how to access my portal, the CRM portal? All right. So you select a particular contact. Just click on this ellipsis icon, and you have an option called send portal invitation. Okay. So you can choose that and send them an invite, and they will be in a position to access your portal, your CRM, and they can also upload the data from there, right? So that's what portal is all about. And in enterprise version of CRM, you can give 10,000 portal access to your customers or to your contacts. You can increase it. We are obviously, guys, you guys know that we do also have an ultimate version. So if you upgrade to that, you can increase that. So so that's the limit of portal access and how you can utilize portal. So since we have the canvas view released, as I said, the products can be displayed onto your portal, and you can send out invitations wherein your customers can come and look into the products in the form of a pictorial representation, and then they can place an order, they can raise a quotation, which can be an order for you. You can rename that quotation tab to be as orders, and you can also showcase your contact details. If you're doing a travel and living company, you can utilize the portal to upload personal information from your customers like passports and all that. So in European sectors, you are actually giving the consent to the customers to upload their data by themselves. So again, you need not worry about GDPR policies in that scenario. So all that can be achieved using customer portal. All right. So that's all, guys. So there was a detailed explanation on modules and fields. Hope you guys enjoyed and learned how to customize and all that. So if you have any questions or doubts, we will be uploading this video wherein you can go back and look at it. So we are expecting these videos to be edited and uploaded by Monday, or at the least by Wednesday or Thursday of next week, and so that you can go through those videos and practice and learn and all that, right? So I'm going to transfer this session to Chris, and before I do that, I just want to show my personal social page, which I actually host was keep projecting it onto the screen. So this is kind of a semi-official Twitter handles and Facebook and Instagram and no LinkedIn pages of mine. I am planning to actually release out suggestions in terms of small short videos, wherein whenever I encounter a new kind of a scenario, like as I said, the medical industry and any kind of an industry that I tend to encounter and the scenario that I could encounter when I'm going across the globe and training people. So I tend to get ideas. I also tend to get some scenarios and all that. So I'm planning to launch those as small short videos wherein you can also learn how to customize the application in such a scenario. So it's a kind of an initiative that I'm taking up with the approval of our organization to do it through the social media, also through the community, and also through Zoho forums and all that. And so please tag me and follow me on these. So I'll be releasing them soon. I'm working on it, and so you can also get benefited. You can also share some ideas of yours to me, and you can also ask me questions and all that. So please take some time to tag in yourself or give me a friend request on Facebook and all this. This is kind of an official page, guys. This is not my on my personal Facebook. I do have a personal Facebook, and I do also have a personal Instagram and Twitter. This is kind of a semi-official thing in purpose for the training and also to help the community across wherever I meet people and all that. They will get to know me and my solutions, and I want to spread the idea of Zoho and CRM and other products of Zoho. So this is the place where I'm trying to do it. So people are normally onto Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So the moment I tweet that I have released something, you guys get to know that, right? So you don't get to know if until and unless you check a CRM community or something like that. So we are trying to do it through social media. We'll also be hosting it onto the CRM forums and all that. So just to make a note of it. So I'll be again hosting this page so that you can make a note of it. All right. So thank you, guys. And let me just quickly transfer to Chris. Chris, are you there?
Yes, Sandeep. Can you hear me?
Yes, Chris.
All right. Okay.
Perfect, Chris. So I'm just going to transfer the session to you.
Okay. All right, Sandeep, can you see my visual?
Not yet, Chris. It's still.
It's loading. Okay.
Yeah,
But
I got it.
okay,
I got it.
Audio is clear?
Audio is clear. Good to go.
Okay, just confirm whether you're able to see my screen share. I'm trying to choose the screen now. Are you able to see my screen share?
Not yet, Chris. Just do a refresh.
Yeah. Hold on a second. I just initiated it. Can you see now?
No.
Okay, hold on a second.
All right, we got it.
Okay, and the audio, video, and the screen share is good.
Yes,
correct?
All is good, and the recording is still running.
Okay, all right, Sandeep. Thank you so much for explaining all the customization part, what we have in CRM, which is really very much important for the partners, because partners, they involve in huge implementation and customization part, and in certain few small feature or something, and the other fields which are available, they miss out in those small places. So this session which you took was very helpful, and it's a complete refresh for them, and the people who are listening for the very first time, they would have really benefited out of this session. So thank you so much for that, Sandip. And moving forward,
Thanks a
so
lot, Chris.
yeah, welcome. So moving forward, what we are going to see in the rest of the day. So we have like around another 2 hours. So we are going to get this done by starting with automation and marketplace in Zogo CRM. Okay. So again, automation. It's whatever the business you do. If there is some kind of any robotic work or any kind of automation, if you have in your business model, definitely the works, whatever you're going to do and the effort, if you have a smart way, you're going to end up with a very good profit and revenue, and where automation is going to be a very huge part in that, right? So all the fields and records and modules, it going to, all these things going to involve in this automation part. Okay. So just please keep tweeting, in the social media, hash Zoho Inspire, with the comments and the feedbacks, whatever you come through and whatever you have benefited. We started getting all the responses. Really, it's very good. And guys, thank you so much. You partners made it great again. Zoho, again, thank you so much for that. We keep supporting you all. So that's just a reminder. So let me just move forward with the session. So as I told you before yesterday, and today also I, re-quoted this. This is a very important slide because this just shows the complete sales cycle of any business, you can fit in. Okay, it can be in a car retail, or it can be in a software business, or whatever it is. Okay, so first of all, if it is a business where you're going to involve sales and marketing, you need campaigns, and you need any marketing tool. For that, we saw, what are the options we have in the channels, and what are the options for marketing. We saw social media and chat, websites, everything. So having that run everything, having the, your business marketed. So now the world know what you're going to do. All right. And people start following in, following in your business, and a lot of people walk into your business, and now you have the data. Okay. So you run a campaign through email, or magazine, or website advertisements, online advertisements, whatever. You have marketed to the next level of your business, and now you have a huge set of data, all right, which which got automatically generated, or it got generated by your salesperson. All right. So now we are in the second stage. Okay. And you assign it to the respective people, because a marketing guy can never go and close a deal, right? He knows, his ideology will be like, he know how to market the product and how to make it so, in a different way. That is the ideology of a marketer. But a salesperson, he knows the temperature of the customer. He will just, follow up the customer on daily basis. He will drop emails, and he will be calling the customer, identify the customer's interest. Based on that, he will pitch in the business, right? So you have to assign to the right person. So now we are in the third stage. Okay. After assigning to the right person, you have to follow up, correct? You have to, follow up through phone, emails. You can create events, and you can create tasks to your salespeople. Okay. And they will be the customer back to back, and the salespeople, they are the right person to qualify the lead, whether they are going to do the business with us or not. And if they are qualified, and that is the point, they are going to convert the lead as a contact. And along converting a lead, you will have options to, gather some information for the like where the contact, like where your customer is associated with, if the customer is associated with any huge organization, those information is also gathered. Again, like for any kind of marketing purpose, it will be really helpful. And you convert the deal, and in Zogo CRM we have the inventory modules as well, and you will pitch in the customer, you will give him all the like offers and discounts and what are the things you can do towards your business, and then finally you will identify whether you have won the deal or the deal is lost. Okay, so here there is a lot of manual work, right? So through like marketing automation, what we did is like we had the social and website and all. It is automated and it is completely marketing. That's a different scenario. But now you have the data and you have to split it among your like your sales team, right? And how we are going to do that? And you have to create a lot of follow-up emails and tasks, a lot of manual work. If it is going to be in a very small scale, like we don't want to bother about the automation, because you have the enough manpower to do all the work right from like stage 1 to stage 5. It's all right. But if it is going to be in a very huge scale, where you have to if it is going to be in a huge scale, and if you have to invest a lot of time in identifying the target crowd, then it's going to be like that is going to be the messy part. Okay, so now what you can do is like a set of automation tools where you can identify target crowd, and based on that you can automate your business, you can perform certain actions. So for that we have a set of automation tools. So let me show you that. So let me jump on to the one. Yeah, okay. So so this slide, okay, so it's another important slide. So these are the automation we have in Zogo CRM. Okay, so I hope Sandeep took about macros. Okay, where you have a set of actions where you can send emails, create tasks, and you can do field updates. And in automation, that is like a part of automation until the trigger. Once the trigger is being done, macros, like it will execute all the set of actions automatically. And under automation, today we are going to see workflow rules, assignment rules, and schedules, storing rules, rules, and the process management is also involved in this automation part, where we are going to see about blueprints and approval process. So until like a couple of years ago, we had the blueprints and approval process under automation, and since the blueprints and approval process are a lot of involvement in the process, defining the process. So we introduced a separate column for process management, and we have a lot of new features, which we are already under testing phase, and we have already implemented in a few partners account as well as in the customer account also. We have included the like new features under process management. So these are the automation part we have in CRM. Okay, so I have I have just highlighted three like actions here. Okay, the reason why I have highlighted over here is the emails, tasks, field updates, and webhooks, custom function. These are the 5 actions which are involved in all these, in all these automation tools. Okay, this Zogo CRM automation tool, automation features otherwise can be called as non-developer tools. Okay, so all these features, what you have to understand is just the logic. What this feature is actually going to do. You have to understand only the logic. Apart from that, everything is you have to set it, and like you have to forget it. That is, to be very precise, that is the thing. You have to configure it and you can forget it. That's it. All right. So what are the let me begin with workflow rules. Okay, as I told you before, the 5 actions is going to be involved in this. Okay, so what is a workflow rule? Okay, So let me just jump on to the next slide. Okay. So what is a workflow rule? What is going to do? Workflow rule is something, it's going to execute a set of action based on a specific criteria and based on a specific condition when entering an information. That is the cycle. Okay. So this is another important slide for workflow rules. So let me just consider, like a specific use case. Let's just imagine in this way. Okay. So I have a business use case like, each and every single day in my business. We've been talking for the past 2 days. This particular business, car recently. Okay, every day I have a few set of people walking into directly into my store, and they will be, browsing some cars, and they will show their interest, like I would like to buy this particular car, or I would like to buy that particular car, or else I just came for an inquiry. Okay, so all this information are gathered and it has been stored by the initial person who is sitting in the front desk. Okay, he will gather the information in my business. Okay, he will the customer will come, he walk into the store. I will get the first name, his last name, his email address, and phone number, the contact information. I will store them in the leads. Okay. On the very first day itself, you cannot rush any customer to take a decision on buying a huge product or any product which is going to give a huge, revenue for your business, right? We cannot force the customer. If the customer, like by himself, he's decided like I'm going to buy this particular car, or I'm going to go for this particular thing, that's fine. But usually the customers, the nature of the customer is he walk in and he keeps on browsing and he keeps on searching which is the suitable for his needs, right? So I have to follow up with the customer. I cannot narrow down this particular customer definitely is going to buy a car, or buy particular is going to buy something else for sure. I don't I don't have that hold. I have to follow up, right? So each and every single day, I have like 50 plus customers walking into my store. Okay, and I have to make them walk into my store again on the second or third day. How I can do that? All right, I have filled in the information, and now I have to write an email to ask them to come on this particular day, or I have to offer them something. Like if you come and take a test drive on this weekend, we are providing like 10% discount. All right, like that. Likewise, so I have to I need some kind of automation here. Okay, I cannot sit and make someone to follow up these 50 plus customers one by one. I cannot send emails one by one, and I have to assign it to a salesperson, and I have to create a task for him, and it is really tedious for me to do one by one. But this can be achieved easily by having this workflow rules. Okay, so initially you're going to enter the information, you're going to identify the trigger point. So here the customer walks in, the front desk agent, he fill in the information in the CRM. So the trigger point is when the record is created and the criteria. Okay, for example, the customers are from a specific place. Okay, that is the criteria. For example, if the customers are interested in four-wheeler, or the customers are interested in two-wheeler. So here the criteria is the customers who are interested in two-wheeler, or the customers are interested in four-wheeler, like a vintage car. Likewise, okay, that is based on your business requirement. So I will define the criteria here, and I will execute a set of actions. What are the set of actions I'm going to execute? Those are, I'm going to write a follow-up email, and I'm going to update a field, and I'm going to update the field like lead source. Okay, so direct walk-in customer, I will update that field. And what I can do is like I can assign a task, and I can have that followed up by a salesperson. All this set of action executed in one single shot when the record has been created. Okay, so let's see how we are going to do this in a workflow. So under automation, you have workflows, workflow rules, and workflow rules. It's available for most of the modules in Zogo CRM, and in 2020 feature we came for we released it for workflow rules for emails as well as for calls. Previously we'd never had that, but now we came up with that, which we will be going through in detail tomorrow. So today I will just show you what is a workflow is. Okay, so I'm going to create a workflow rule for leads module. Let me create a lead, create a workflow rule for lead, and I'm going to name it as direct walk-in customer. Okay, and I'm going to click on next. So here, this is the condition when this rule needs to be triggered. So whenever we have like three options, so let's see one by one. So one is when a record action. So what are the record actions? Record actions are whenever you create the record, or whenever you create or edit the record, or whenever you edit, or whenever there is a field up, or whenever you delete the record. So all these actions, or record actions are available under the execution trigger for the workflow rules. So in my scenario, whenever the record has been created, whenever the lead record has been created, the workflow rule needs to be executed. So I'm going to choose as create, and now which lead you would like to apply the rule to. So here I can give the criteria like if and I'm doing a business around the globe, okay, and around the globe everybody using the same CRM. For example, I have the same kind of business in India as well as in UK and in the European regions and around the globe in all the Asian part of of the world. So what I can do is I'm going to choose like country is, okay. So to any lead who walks into my direct store, this is the first information I need. I will be collecting it from the customer without fail. So if the country is okay, that is the criteria. So the workflow rule will not be triggered for all the records. It will be triggered for the records where the country is India. Okay. Likewise, you can give up to 25 criteria. Okay. So criteria is again nothing but the fields which is available inside the records. Okay. So you can associate up to 25 criteria. All right. So for time being, I have just given the country is India, and let me click on next. And here comes the main part. Okay. So here I have two different actions. One is instant action, and the other one is scheduled action. So let me let you know what is an instant action. So instant action is once the rule has been executed, okay, and the rule has been executed, it matches the criteria, and the rule has been executed for only for those specific records. So once that is done, this instant action will be executed automatically and immediately. All right, I can do a field update. So Papas, if you have a pen and paper handy, you can have this note. The people who are aware about it, it's well and good, but for the guys who are going through for the very first time, you can have a note of it. So you can associate 5 email notification, in instant action, and you can associate 3 field updates, and you can associate 1 custom function, and you can associate 1 webhook function. All right. So since this is a lead, you also have an option to convert, and this convert is available only when you have a criteria. If you don't have a criteria, you will not have an option to convert. Let me show you that again. Okay, so I'm going to exclude this criteria, and now see I don't have the option to convert. Okay, so convert is available only when you have a criteria. All right, let me re-enter the information. So country is India. All right. So see, I have the instant action to convert. So there are businesses where if the customer just walks in, you feed in the information, right? Like when they are being feeded as a lead, there are certain business where they wanted to convert it as a contact also. So in such scenario, convert option will help. And like create record. These are the feature updates we have done for workflow rules. Previously, we had only updating an email and updating fields and creating tasks and like having a one custom function and webhooks. But now we came up with tags and creating records, and convert is available like from the beginning. All right. So let me just let's continue with the flow. So let me just associate the email. So I'm going to send a welcome email. All right. Let me choose a different one. Yeah. Okay. So I can also view the template by just clicking on this. So how it's going to look like. So this is keep in touch with us. So this is just a simple email. So let me associate this. All right. And again, that is the welcome email. And now I would like to send what are the more like products I have in my in my company. So I will send a different welcome email also back to back, like sending out a set of emails. And likewise, I can configure up to 5 emails, and I'm going to create a task. So what I'm going to do is like I'm going to create a follow-up task. If you don't have an existing task, you can create from here itself, where it will ask all the information. Normally, you create a task the same way you have to create a task from here also. You can fill in all the information. So let me associate a task which is already I have configured, which I have already created. So I am going to associate this follow-up task, and this is going to be associated to associated to a salesperson, and I can also update a field, right? So I'm going to create a new field, field update. I'm going to do that automatically. So I'm going to give it the name as